Well, hey there, Mama, and welcome back to the Moms Overcoming Overwhelm podcast, episode number 250. Wow, I can't believe we actually made it to 250 episodes. I'm Emily McDermott, and I am here beside you on this journey as we work together to declutter your home, head, and heart. Okay, I wasn't really sure what to do. I mean, the United States just celebrated 250 years, right? And I thought I should do something momentous and have, fireworks or something. But the reality is this is a very busy, crazy season in my life. So I did what I hope is the next best thing. I am going to be sharing 25 questions in honor of the 250th episode. 25 questions to help you live clutter-free. And I hope this is a fun episode for you. Make sure to check out the show notes today. I'll be listing all of those questions for you. And grab that notebook and pen and let's dive into today's episode. Hey Mama, are you tired of your cluttered home and mile-long to-do lists but are too overwhelmed to know where to start? Do you lack the time and motivation and don't think you'll ever conquer the clutter? You're in the right place. I'm Emily, wife, boy mom, and declutter coach who has overcome the overwhelm in my own life through decluttering and simplifying. I believe every mom deserves the peace that comes from a clutter-free home. Ready to get your life back? Let's declutter your home, head, and heart together. All right, so maybe your kids are already back to school. Mine are going back in a little over a week, and I'm looking forward to having some new decluttering challenges in the Facebook group. So if you're interested in doing some back to school challenges, you can head on over to tinyurl.com/moms overcoming overwhelm and stay tuned for more information about our upcoming challenges. So I have broken down these 25 questions into some different categories. And the first category are questions to ask before you buy something, because we talk often about turning off the tap, meaning that it doesn't matter how much you declutter and get stuff out of your house if you keep getting more and more stuff in. So here are these 5 questions. There's obviously more that we can ask, and I actually do have several playlists, including an intentional purchasing playlist, but let's go ahead and go over these. The first one is, does this item bring freedom or burden to my life? So it may seem like, oh, it's just something cute that I'm getting at Target or something like that, but is it actually causing burden because of the time and energy it requires to manage it? Or is it something that you truly, truly need? Number 2, where will it live in my home? Where will it go? If you can't think of a specific place that it will be designated to go there, then you may want to wait or consider checking that there's a designated spot, because oftentimes we don't have a plan for that and then we just kind of shove it somewhere. Third one is, does it align with my values? So when it comes to what we own and also what we declutter, we want to make sure it's in alignment with our values, whether that be our personal values or our family values. It needs to feel like something that makes sense for us and our family. So this is a great question to ask. Number 4, could I borrow it instead? Now, our culture is not really keen on borrowing necessarily in the United States. Obviously, we have libraries, and now there's things like buy nothing groups where it's more of that sharing economy. But our first reaction is, oh, I need this, I'm going to go buy it. So instead, especially if you're not sure whether you're actually going to use the thing or if you really want it, making sure, okay, is it something I could borrow from a friend or a neighbor first? And number 5 is putting on that pause button. Do I need to buy it now, or can I pause and check in later? Okay, this is incredibly important, not just with purchasing, but really with any decision. Just instead of kind of rushing into it, okay, can I pause maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, go back to it and see if my opinion's changed? So those are 5 questions to ask before you buy. And next, we're going to move slightly differently into some mental clutter busting questions. Because a lot of times we have mental clutter. Now, this could be limiting beliefs about us as moms, saying, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm such a bad mom, like that kind of thing. Or it can be around decluttering. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, no one supports me, nobody helps me, these types of things. So here are some of the questions around that mental clutter. When you think a specific thought, ask yourself, number one, is this thought serving me? Is it actually helping me? Or is it causing me stress? Is it causing me anxiety? The second is this thought absolutely true? So sometimes we think something's true, but it's not actually true. And so being able to, like I like to say, hold it up to the light and take a look at it. Is this actually true? Number three, how would I feel without this thought? A lot of times these thoughts are making us feel bad about ourselves, bad about our abilities. And so if you were free from that thought, how would you feel about yourself? Number four, what is a true thought that could replace this negative thought that I'm having? So if I'm saying, I always yell at my kids, maybe we take out the always and we say, I'm under a time of great stress right now. I am yelling at my kids more than I would like, but that is something that I can change. So it's something that is true, but it is countering that negative thought. And the fifth mental clutter busting question is, do I have to think about this now or can I choose another time to think about it? This is especially true for me when I can't get back to sleep at like 2 or 3 in the morning and I have all these thoughts going on, most of which are not serving me. And the question is, do I actually have to think about this right this moment, or can I wait until tomorrow and actually have these thoughts tomorrow? Now that one's a little trickier, but it is really helpful to stop ruminating constantly on certain thoughts. Okay, so we're already through 10 questions. My goodness, we had 5 questions before you buy something and 5 mental clutter busting questions. Now we're going to get into one of my favorite topics, which is decluttering mindset. And in order to come up with these, I looked not only at my freebie, 50 Questions Minimalists Ask, which I will link to that and my other resources in the show notes, but also looking through what I have done within these 250 episodes. And believe me, trying to narrow it down to this number of questions was hard. But here we go. So the first one, similar to the before you buy questions, does this item reflect my values? So when we're looking at whether we're keeping something or letting it go, does it reflect my values? Perhaps it reflected my values or my interests in a different time of my life, but right now in this season, it does not reflect my values. Maybe we let it go. Number 2, do I have the capacity to manage this item in this season? I talk a lot about capacity. It is super important. It's one of the main lenses by which we make our decisions. And so knowing perhaps in a different season, I did have the capacity and I was able to manage this, but I'm not really able to manage it now. And so perhaps that could have to do with clothing. You just have too much clothing to manage. And so you decide in this season, I'm going to have a more limited wardrobe. And so I'm going to let go of the clothing that's no longer serving me right now. Number 3, does this item support my current self in my current season of motherhood, or is it aspirational? We talk a lot about aspirational clutter. That's things we're holding on to because either it reflects us in the past or this aspirational future of what we want to be if everything was perfect, right? If we had all the time, energy, and resources to do all of these things. So asking yourself, okay, does this support me now? Or is it something that's making me feel bad about myself because it isn't where I am right now, but it's making me think of the past or a potential idealized future? Okay, number 4, would I buy this again if I didn't own it already? And kind of part of that is also how much would I actually pay for it, if I were to buy it again. This is something where we tend to give more value to things that we own already. It's called the endowment effect. And so being able to ask yourself, okay, would I actually buy it if it was in a store, could be a mindset shift that can help you. Similarly, number 5, and this comes from the minimalists, How would I feel if this item spontaneously combusted? This is especially true for things we've inherited or sentimental items, some of those like family guilt sort of items. Would you feel relief if this thing actually just blew up? And if the answer is yes, then probably you don't want to keep it. Okay, moving on to number 6. If I were moving, I love this one since I just recently moved. If I were moving, would I take this item, bubble wrap it, pack it, and then unpack it and put it away when I arrive? Do I want to go through all of that time and energy? And if the answer is no, then maybe we let it go now before we have to move. Number 7, I talked about this, I believe, last week about 2 things being true at the same time. Can I recognize that this item may have value? Perhaps that is extrinsic value, meaning I paid money for it, or intrinsic value, it has some sort of sentimental value to me. And I can let it go to experience something better. So just because something has some kind of value doesn't mean we necessarily have to hold on to it. It may not make sense for us in this season to do that. Okay, number 8. By the way, can I just pause? I'm trying to record this. There's never a good time to record. We have people mowing their lawns, we have birds chirping, we have people going up and down the street. I can't really help it. So I'm sorry if any of that is coming through. There's only so much I can do. Okay, sorry for the little segue. Number 8. If I were to pass away unexpectedly, would I want my family members to have to go through these items? Now, this goes back to my favorite topic of all, Swedish death cleaning, and just knowing that we don't want our family members to have to deal with all of this extra stuff. So let's deal with it ourselves now, okay? Number 9, am I keeping this just in case, which likely means never, or am I keeping it just for when, for a specific time frame or specific season? I am keeping my ski gear until I go skiing in the winter, rather than, oh, well, we might go camping someday, so we're going to keep all of this camping gear that we never use, for example. And the 10th one in the decluttering mindset questions, am I keeping this out of guilt or obligation? And why am I feeling guilty? Like, is it a perception that my family member is going to get mad if I get rid of it? Or have they verbalized, I don't want you ever to let go of this, which is very unlikely. Most of the time, it's our perception and kind of what we have going on in our brains and the stories that we're telling ourselves about these things. Okay, so those are the decluttering mindset questions, and we are going to finish up with 5 questions to help us actually get started in decluttering, because we know it takes a lot of motivation to get started. So the first question is perfectionism causing me to put off decluttering? Am I worried about doing it wrong, quote unquote, and so I don't do it at all? A lot of times perfectionism causes procrastination. So just being able to relieve that burden from you and knowing anywhere is helpful. Anywhere is great. And that's why I recommend in my transform method, starting with trash. Number 2, if time is my biggest barrier or roadblock, which most times people say it is, what is one activity that currently doesn't serve me that I can replace with decluttering for 10 to 15 minutes? Most likely scrolling your phone, okay? It's all about trade-offs. How are we spending our time? And number 3 kind of feeds into, okay, but I'm tired all the time, right? Number 3, when is the ideal time for me to declutter based upon my energy levels and my current schedule? So I know my energy levels are higher in the morning, so I am going to put my higher energy tasks then if I can. And that might require some creativity and working with your spouse or partner on that. But just knowing when your energy is highest can help you make that decision. Number 4, can I commit to a weekly donation pickup or drop off at a place I feel good about, knowing I can be more discerning later on? A lot of times people are stuck because they're trying to find the perfect place for their donations, which likely doesn't exist. And so can I actually just pick one place and then actually either schedule a recurring pickup or know every Friday I'm going to Goodwill? And then as I get through these layers of stuff, I can start to be more discerning as to where I donate things. And number 5 has to do with Dana K. White's container concept, which is the basis of the decluttering method that I also recommend. And it's about setting boundaries around our categories of stuff, right? So the last question is, does this boundary that I've selected for this category reflect the value that I place on it and my capacity to manage it. Okay, so for example, if you love reading books and love to have books, you may have 3 bookshelves worth of books, but you need to know that it takes time and energy to manage those. Whereas for me, I don't have any real physical books because it's not worth it to me to have those physical books. I would rather actually just go to the library. So there you go. And I have one bonus question for you. Bonus, which is my 3 F's, which I guess is kind of 3 questions in one. But when you're approaching a space, asking yourself, how do I want this space to feel? How do I want it to function? And how do I want it to flow? So really having that vision in place for how you want the space to be, which can help in your decluttering decisions. I am so grateful to all of you who have listened for the almost 4 years that I've been doing this podcast. Thank you so much for supporting me through 250 episodes. And again, feel free to join the Facebook group, look in the show notes for additional resources, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm at info@simpledbyemmy.com, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. Bye for now. Hey Mama, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, could you please share this episode with another mom who is feeling overwhelmed? Also, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a 5-star written review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Finally, if you would like more support, come on over to our free Facebook group, tinyurl.com/Moms Overcoming Overwhelm. Can't wait to connect with you soon.